I will confuse them to come to the market.
Congratulations to the media. You have done incredible work.
In Benin, it will show you what it does.
The Senate observed that PPP has consistently engaged in underhanding.
Position, you don't know. Hey, we'll get to for Africa.
When your brother is producing something and you patronizing your brother.
Listen to Planet's 101.1 FM news at 7 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. with our news in special English at 2:30 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Planet's Radio 101.1 FM, evolving around you.
It's the news at noon. In the news, federal government shifts cervical cancer vaccination for girls to October. ASU tells federal government to pay 2022 withheld lecturers' salaries. Arise ambassadors clear the air on amended Traditional Rulers Council law, call for continued bond of brotherhood. On the foreign scene, Somaliland dismisses Uganda's unity talks offer. In sports, Alvaro Morata scores twice as Atletico Madrid beats Real Madrid in La Liga. Details coming up shortly. Good afternoon. Welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM. Rio. I am Davina Praise. Omang. Our first report this afternoon is that the Senate has called for the immediate rescue of abducted female students of Federal University in Gusau, Zamfara State, by yet-to-be-identified bandits. Reports say that the suspected bandits kidnapped a significant number of students of the university in the early hours of Friday. The chairman, Senate Committee on the Army, Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, made the call in a statement in Abuja today. He said rescuing the innocent female students from captivity of the bandits must be the topmost priority of the country now. Yaradua decried that the scourge of banditry and insurgency by criminal elements in the country with anti-dant abduction of law-abiding citizens was a serious dent to the image of the country and the collective conscience of Nigerians. He said that the Nigerian Army and other security agencies must be well equipped and positioned to stop the menace already threatening the nation's unity, peace, and progress. Away from that, the federal government has postponed the introduction of the human papillomavirus vaccine, earlier scheduled for September 25th to October 24th. The Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shoaib, disclosed this to newsmen. Recall that the federal government had scheduled today for the introduction of the HPV vaccine for girls of ages 9 to 15 to prevent cervical cancer. The introduction of the vaccine was scheduled to kick off in 16 states: Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Enugu, FCT, Jigawa, Kano, Kebbi, Lagos, Nasarawa, Ogun, Osun, and Taraba. However, Dr. Shoaib said that the exercise has been postponed to October 24th, 2023. He said the introduction of the vaccine was postponed to create more awareness of the vaccine. In education, the Academic Staff Union of Universities has urged the federal government to release the salaries of lecturers withheld for embarking on a strike in 2022. The national president of ASU, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, told newsmen that the union expected the government to pay the withheld salaries, but that there was no engagement yet on the issue. His reaction followed news of the approval of a percentage increment in salaries of workers in federal government-owned tertiary institutions. Recall that in 2022, former President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government withheld salaries of ASU members following the period the workers embarked on strike. Recently, a splinter faction of ASU, the Congress of University Academics, led by its national president, Niyi Shumonu, visited the Minister of State for Education, Tanko Sununu, over the withheld salaries of lecturers. Though the minister did not make any promise, he noted that the government would look into the matter. In the meantime, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, has raised the alarm over the looming 40 to 50% of students whom he predicts may drop out of school within the next 2 years if the federal government fails to stop the continuous fee hike in universities. Oshodeke made this known while speaking on the current situation in the Nigerian education sector. According to him, the heavy fees being imposed on students across the nation would result in a massive dropout of students due to their inability to cope with the payments. The Varsities Union president also warned of a looming national problem if his prediction of a massive dropout of students nationwide comes to reality. He said that dropping out of school will result in idleness, which could make them easy targets for perpetrators of evil. However, he urged the government to increase budgetary allocation to education to at least 15% of the total budget sum. Speaking further, he expressed pessimism that the student loan policy of the government would fail. He added that for the loan policy to work, it has to be reviewed. Back here, as the Akwa Ibom people celebrate 36 years of statehood, Governor Mo Eno has taken the lead to ensure continuous peace and unity of the various components of the state, with the charge on stakeholders to rid the state of decisiveness and other tendencies inimical to the peace and growth of the state. This was the hallmark of Governor Mo Eno's speech when he led top government officials, including the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, other past governors and dignitaries, to a special interdenominational Thanksgiving service to round off the state's 36th anniversary celebration at the Apostolic Church, Obioimo Street, Uyo. Governor Eno, who paid glowing tributes to the former Nigerian military president, General Ibrahim Babangida, for his benevolence in hearkening to the yearnings of forebearers by creating Akwa Ibom State in September 1987. Acknowledged with deep appreciation the giant strides recorded by past administrators and governors since the creation of the state. The governor described himself as a bridge builder and pledged his readiness to unite all interests in the state for a common goal, which he spelled out as development. Thanking the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for attending the service with his colleagues in the National Assembly, noting that his presence speaks volume to all Akwa Ibomites. He said that the collaboration with the Senate President will bring good tidings to the state, as development will be attracted from all fronts.
My job is that of reconciliation, and I've shown all that from the first day I got into office. When God, through the support of the 10th Assembly, made you the Senate President, I flew out of this state that day to receive you, to congratulate you on behalf of the Akwa Ibom people. For me, that was not politics, and we must continue to celebrate you. We thank God for you, and we thank God for what God is going to use you to do in Akwa Ibom. Thank you for the collaboration. For me, naturally, whatever it will take to bring development development to Akwa Ibom, I will do it by the grace of God. And we'll work with all shades of people. We'd like to thank our great leaders for the great work they have done. We'd like to thank them, and we'd like to thank you too. You did uncommon things in this state. The next time I took over from you, my political father, the Gurudev Emmanuel, built on what you built. And then today, Akwa Ibom is better. By the grace of God, for 8 years, I will build on what you people have done.
The governor announced plans to form a think tank comprising former governors, deputies and speakers of the state, as well as setting up of a Christian Leadership Advisory Council to also give the religious leaders a stake in charting a way forward for the growth of the state. Governor Eno used the occasion to shed light on the recent enacted Akwa Ibom State Traditional Rulers Law Cap 155, explaining that he did not mastermind the enactment but only facilitated its passage by the House of Assembly, and warned against interferences on chieftaincy issues by the people. He stressed that the law was not driven by ethnic favoritism and encouraged open dialogue with the traditional leaders to address any concerns if they now have a change of mind after the initial agreement among themselves.
The law that has just been passed by the House of Assembly is not my law. The paramount rulers of this state sat together. I was there in that meeting, I didn't say anything. They agreed on what that law is. No one paramount ruler, whether it's at Ibiaku Uruan, Oron, none of them said anything. And all I did is we couldn't implement a law without going through the House of Assembly. So if today they feel that is no more their position, it's a simple thing, they are our fathers, is to call the governor and say, the governor, what we did, we didn't understand. This is what we now think we should do. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has nothing to do with favoring one tribe more than the other. I will never, ever, ever, as a pastor, side any tribe over another. Because I belong to Jesus. We are all going to one kingdom, and it is the kingdom of God.
Earlier, the Senate President and former governor of the state, Senator Godswill Akpabio, had expressed delight in partaking in the state function and thanked Governor Umo Eno for extending the invitation to him. Senator Akpabio also paid tributes to the past leaders of the state and urged the church community to continue to uphold the state government in prayers, expressing optimism that with Governor Eno's godly disposition, the state will witness great peace and progress in his reign. Government House correspondent Jane Uwa reports that the Senate President further assured the people that his position as President of the 10th Senate and his good relationship with President Bola Tinubu will yield landmark blessings for the state in terms of federal projects.
God has been very gracious to Akwa Ibom. Pastor Mano, my governor, I want you to know that I always tell people that classmate is not the same thing as grace mate. The grace of God upon your life cannot be the grace of God upon others. So be stout-hearted and courageous and have God in mind, and it shall be well with Akwa Ibom, sir. At 36, we must take actions and do those things that will bind us together. The mark of a good leader is to listen to all shades of opinion, but take the one that will bring you peace. Take the one that will bring peace to the state. Take the one that will guarantee the peace of future generations. I can announce now that myself as Omelo, we have discussed with President Tinubu. We are going to turn Akwa Palm into a major industrial hub. I'm going to employ a lot of Akwa Ibom children. Your Excellency, before you finish 4 years, you will harvest the fruit of your labor.
Away from that, the Arise ambassadors have given clarifications on the amended Traditional Rulers Council TRC law, where they commended the State House of Assembly for the law, while noting that there appears to be a deliberate misinterpretation of the amended TRC law by some people, stressing that the development, if not condemned, is capable of causing ethnic issues among the peaceful brothers and sisters in Akwa Ibom State. During a press conference hosted by the Arise ambassadors, they said their findings reveal that every aspect of the bill was considered and a public hearing was held where all relevant stakeholders from across the 31 local government areas, including representatives of the paramount rulers Akwa Ibom Itam, Atauro, Itayafe Anang, socio-political groups, trade unions, civil society groups, among others, were present. They said contributions and inputs from all the stakeholders were said to have been solicited and obtained through memoranda to the committee, which added to the final position of the proposed amendment.
The Traditional Rulers Law, Cap 155, Laws of Akwa Ibom State 2022, as amended, was presented, deliberated, and subsequently referred to the House Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs for scrutiny and reverts to the House. Contributions and inputs from all the stakeholders were solicited, which added to the final position of the amended bill that was subsequently assented by His Excellency Governor Umaino.
The Arise ambassadors note that the amendment was primarily targeted at making traditional rulers in Akwa Ibom State attain such credibility and integrity over dignified traditional rulers in other parts of the country. They further noted that the Arise ambassadors were wholly in support of the amended TRC law because it is a good way to make the traditional rulers in Akwa Ibom State play in the big league of traditional institutions in Nigeria. The group noted that the reason the words of the Oni of Ife, Oba of Lagos, Oba of Benin, Olu of Warri, and others are laws is because the ethnic groups that own these first-class traditional rulers are able to follow the modus operandi of the tribes, including matters related to ascension to the throne and duration of reign for their kings. The Arise ambassadors pitched their tent with the collective decision by the 31 paramount rulers in Akwa Ibom State, apart from those who are sick. The other stakeholders that in order for Akwa Ibom State to play a role in the National Traditional Rulers Council, there is a need to elevate the Traditional Rulers Council in the state to be known as Supreme Traditional Rulers Council, headed by the President General. They described the development as highly commendable, saying it shows a traditional institution that is concerned about projecting the image of Akwa Ibom State in the country and the Committee of Traditional Rulers in Nigeria with antecedent benefits. It further added that by sharing the offices of the President General, Vice President General, and Vice President General 2 among the Akwa Ibom Ibibio, Kukwanang, and the Ataoro shows that the traditional fathers are sensitive to the components of the state and want to continue to live in love and unity. Arise ambassadors reminded everyone that Akwa Ibom State belongs to all the tribes of the state and that there is no need to snuggle ethnic undertone to an ordinary good-intentioned action of the legislature. It urged that the perpetrators should know that the bond of brotherhood in the state is too strong to be broken by the alleged selfish plots of people who were rejected by Akwa Ibom people at the polls, whipping misplaced ethnic sentiments and non-existent division among brothers with the unrealistic aim of embarrassing the state government. They expressed commendation for the exemplary disposition and mentality of the President General of the Supreme Traditional Rulers Council, Akwa Ibom Ibibio, and Tenyon Solomon Etuk, for his leadership style and patriotic actions in all his stations of life, while airing out confidence that the new office will not be an exception in his abilities. The press statement noted that Arise ambassadors are pro-Akwa Ibom and want the people to magnify the state and not the ethnic divides. While thanking Governor Umaino for bringing reputation to the traditional rulers through the new law, they urged all not to jeopardize the good intentions of the governor just for alleged selfish and clannish interests, adding that this is not the time to distract Governor Umaino through whatever masked guise, as Akwa Ibom State belongs to everyone. The Arise ambassadors sued for continued love, unity and oneness chartered for the state by the founding fathers, and called for support for the new traditional rulers law of Akwa Ibom State to achieve its aims, especially in the spirit of the state's 36th anniversary.
Highly impressed by the exemplary disposition and mentality of the President General of the Supreme Traditional Rulers Council, Akwa Ibom Ibibio, Ntenyen Dr. Solomon Etuk, for his contra-myopic leadership style and patriotic action in all his stations of life. We are confident that the new office will not be an exception. We condemn in totality the sponsored protests by those who are out of circulation like unrecommended school books, and advise them not to take the peace and unity enjoyed in the Akwa Ibom State for granted. Let's love live. We are highly...
More reactions for Akwa Ibom anniversary. The celebration of the 36th anniversary of Akwa Ibom in this golden era of the state, led by Pastor Umo Basiano, has been described by an avid promoter and advocate of the Arise agenda, Obong Nsima William Ikpo, as remarkable and phenomenal. Obong Nsima, whose commitment to the socio-economic progress of Etinan people and the state in general is unwavering, noted with satisfaction while speaking at the airport with journalists. He praised the trait of sincerity, humility and dedicated zeal of the governor, Pastor Umo Eno, to the fulfillment of the Arise agenda as exemplified in the 100 days in office threshold. Obong Ikpo recalled the contributions of Akwa Ibom forebears and predecessors in the governance these past years to the Akwa Ibom project, with glowing tributes while congratulating the state governor, Pastor Umo Basiano. All commissioners, House of Assembly members, House of Representative members, senators of Akwa Ibom extraction, and all Akwa Ibomites on the UCS celebration of the state creation. Obong Nsima, who is also an Adaida Kefal Ebrutu, and Utuekong Etinan town, adorned the state colors of orange and green with his wife, Chief Mrs. Mfon Ikpo. I prayed God to continue to endow the governor with outstanding wealth of wisdom and strength for service to the state. He also urged his people in Etinan local government area to arise into mutual celebration, for the golden era has indeed started. You are listening to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM, Uyo. Let's take a breather and then bring you more stories from our foreign, sports, and entertainment scenes. Do stay with us.
Healthy living begins with the choices one makes. Choosing to live healthy is the first step to healthy living. Join us Sundays 1:30 to 2 p.m. for Healthway, awareness for healthy choices.
Many thanks for staying with us. On the foreign scene, Somaliland has said it has no plans for dialogue to discuss unity after Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni's offer to mediate between the self-proclaimed republic and Somalia's federal government. Recall that President Museveni said he had agreed to take on the role of peace facilitator between the two after meeting a Somaliland government envoy in the Ugandan city of Entebbe. He said Uganda did not support the breakaway republic's secession because strategically it was wrong. But in a statement, Somaliland's foreign ministry said that any talks with the government in Mogadishu will not discuss unification, but rather how the two previously united countries can move forward separately. The statement added that the Republic of Somaliland therefore confirmed to the African Union and the rest of the international community that it has no plans for dialogue to discuss unity with Somalia. In sports, Alvaro Morata scored twice as Atletico Madrid ended Real Madrid's 100% start to the La Liga season with a fine recovery on victory over their city rivals. They led inside 4 minutes when former Real Madrid forward Morata converted Samuel Lino's dangerous cross. Antoine Griezmann then made it 2-0 with another header before Toni Kroos's fine low strike halved the deficit. But Morata sealed Atletico's victory when he rose highest to meet Son Guez's ball in after the break. Victory moved Atletico up to the 5th in the table, while Real are 3rd behind leaders Barcelona and Girona after dropping points for the first game this season. It's been the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM, Uyo. But before we go, a recap of the major stories. The federal government has postponed the introduction of the human papillomavirus vaccine, earlier scheduled for September 25th to October 24th. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has urged the federal government to release the salaries of lecturers withheld for embarking on a strike in 2022. The Arise ambassadors have given clarifications on the amended Traditional Rulers Council (TRC) law, where they commended the State House of Assembly for the law, while noting that there appears to be a deliberate misinterpretation of the amended TRC law by some people, stressing that the development, if not condemned, is capable of causing ethnic issues among the peaceful brothers and sisters in Akwa Ibom State. On the foreign team, we told you that France President Emmanuel Macron has said France will withdraw its ambassador and end all military cooperation with Niger following a coup. In sports, we told you that Alvaro Morata scored twice as Atletico Madrid beats Real Madrid in La Liga. For comments and coverage of your newsworthy events, call our newsroom on 0812-770-2940. Visit our website on planet101fm.ng and follow us on Twitter at planet_101fm. Also like our Facebook page at planet101fm. Uyo. The news is edited by Isaiah Udo and Jane Uwa. As we end the news, stay safe, be vigilant and on the lookout. Pray as well for the safe return of all abducted corps members from Akwa Ibom. I am Davina Praise, Omang. Good afternoon.